Paintball sucks in the rain. Here's how to make it suck less.
I'm so free.
Alright, so you're going to a tournament, you're trying to play, and it starts raining. Hopefully you have some of these things with you because you watched this video and you're smart. Let's try to get this together. So I'm going to use my personal shocker amp here as my dummy gun for whenever we get to that part of stuff. The easiest thing, one of the first things you're going to want to do, probably more so if you're a front player, back players and people who play the home tend to be shooting the whole time, so there's not a whole lot of opportunity for the paint to get wet through their speed feed, and they're going to be reloading a lot more, so I may not recommend this for a back player per se, but for someone who's in the front, might not even really go through a hopper or two per game, you're going to want to switch out to your rain lid. Now this is a Spire 3, same as the Spire 4, same as the Control, same as the Spire IR and the IR2. Tons of these take this exact same kind of system where it just slides out and just slides in real easy like. The only thing you're going to really be concerned about is remembering as you're shooting, and it's time to reload, first you got to pop this open before you grab your pod, dump her in. Okay, so now let's talk about pods. With these little things, your pod runner and the rest of your team are going to love you if the inside of your pod isn't absolutely destroyed after you've dumped it and put it on the ground. So if you can spare the thought while you're playing, and you reload, you dump that dumpy in there, get it good, I really recommend try to shut it and then drop it, because you're going to keep it from getting all the elements inside of there. That is a huge thing, because then you're saving your pod swab, because really the pod swab should be for like little bits of dust if it's dry out or getting broken paint, because every now and again you will get a broken ball in there. I call that a money pod. So if you're saving the pod swab itself from being just really wet and all that, and kind of gunked up with a bunch of crap, that's going to humongously help. And also, just so you know, this is your pod swab. This is what's really going to be helping you. Obviously, I'm not going to take the plastic off of this, but just go in real quick, get it out, but make sure you're all the way down. That's how you're going to clean your stuff, but hopefully you don't have to do that too much after it's already ruined, because you're not going to ruin it. So, next couple of things that you can do. This is going to be a little more complex, but that's okay. I'm going to take my barrel off to make this easier. So, obviously, barrels have a ton of porting on them, okay? A lot of holes, a lot of spaces for moisture and water to get into. Something you can do, electrical tape, is very good at sealing. I'm going to bust some of this open here.
Bust it.
Bussin'. Okay, I'm going to start at the tip so that it's nice and sealed up here if you want to get in. So I'm getting as even as I can with the tip of my gun.
Oh, it's not focused.
That's okay. Even as I can with the tip of my gun, or my tip of my barrel, I should say. And then I'm just going to go down. Now, for some of you who might have done marching percussion back in the day, this is kind of similar if you ask me. It's just a real nice wrap. It's like stick tape. And I never even really thought of that until just now, but this is pretty much like doing a stick tape job.
Hey.
So I'm just going to go down the whole thing here, and I might even fast forward because this is going to be boring as hell. And wow, I have not done a stick tape job in a minute. This is looking terrible. There we go. So I'm starting to get better. You don't have to do it quite this nice and even. This is just how I do it because drummer and marching percussion. See, this is starting to get better. It's starting to look kind of nicer. But I think now we're going to hit the portion where I fast forward for you, for the sake of you guys. Alright, cool. So I'm at the end of it, so I'm just going to round it off real quick. And I'm not going to trace it back up the other way. I think that's just kind of wasteful. Don't really need to. But you get it all nice and cinched up. There you go. So this is going to keep from getting a lot of moisture and stuff in your gun. It will change the sound. It's going to make it loud as hell. It's going to sound like a cannon's going off, but you know what? Better than having a lot of wet streaks and all that crap inside your barrel. So, I'm going to put that back on my shocker here. Next thing you're going to do also involves tape. So this is to help with the electronics of your gun. Most of them are going to be housed back here in your grip. So, and while the shocker amp is great because it has these nice little grooves to really get a good seal in here as you've closed your grip frame, it still really helps a lot to take some, again, electrical tape and actually wrap this up entirely. So I'm going to start down here and kind of just go around and make sure that everything is nice and sealed in, keeping the rain out, because the rain, not your friend. The rain does not care about you and your event. All right, cool. So I'm going to cut it off there because you do still have to be able to turn the gun on. So that's a pretty important piece, is being able to activate it. So I'm going to rip it here. There you go. So that should mostly do it for the tape job, because up here, probably not. Like you could theoretically, I could go behind my trigger here and get that as well. I'm not going to take it quite that far because this is where the real meat and potatoes of it is. But so there's your gun all nice and taped up with your ability to dump pods and not ruin all your paint. And then my last and final tip here for you guys, get a visor. Get a visor, get a visor, get a visor. Put it over top. It has to fit your mask. There are some, like with the Dye i5s, I know people have to kind of like fashion a Virtue one that I've seen and they just kind of make it fit somehow. I recommend owning a mask in the first place that is visor compatible. So in this case, the JT ProFlex, the one that I use, the Virtue Vio Contour 2, the new Carbon Zero and Zero Pro masks, they can come with them and you can buy them as well. There's a ton of mask options out there that offer the ability to have a visor. Super helpful in the rain. In the event that you can't get a visor for any reason, I will show you what you can do with a beanie to kind of help out with that. To cover your mask here, I'll grab one of these carbons. I'm gonna toss this on first without getting all this plastic in my face. There we go. So my mask is on. You take a beanie. This one's from Midwest Paintball, or sorry, Midwest Clothing. They are a paintball company. I really like them. We don't retail them currently, but maybe I can beg Joel and we will. But take the beanie, put it on, and you cover like this. It looks kind of ridiculous, but man, I've seen weirder things. I've also seen people take a bucket hat as well and cover themselves with it. But anything to keep these top portion here covered from getting the rain in there. It will kind of feel like a little more, a little closer in your mask, a little more kind of warm, and like it might fog. Like rain is going to make everything fog way easier, but keeping the moisture out will keep fog from being in between your lens panes, and that's one of the biggest points of doing this. So there you guys have it. Those are my tips here for how to play paintball in the rain, specifically some tournament paintball, but I think this is extremely applicable to rec ball as well. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. Leave a comment. Let me know if you guys have any other creative ideas and if you'd like to see a part 2 of this video or maybe a series like this. As always, guys, use the link in the description to buy all your paintball gear from Punisher's Paintball. Thanks.
I'm so free.